The morning sun shone bright over the grand palace of Westoria. Inside the golden halls, everyone was getting ready for the spring festival. This was the biggest celebration of the year. Thousands of people would come to watch the royal family on the palace balcony. Guard Captain Marcus stood at his post near the royal chambers. He had been a royal guard for 12 years. He was tall, strong, and very serious about his job. His uniform was perfect. His boots were shiny. His eyes always watched everything around him. Today was special. The young Prince Oliver would appear in public for the first time. He was only 4 years old. His mother, Princess Elena, was nervous about bringing him to such a big event. But the king had insisted. The people wanted to see the little prince. Marcus remembered when Prince Oliver was born. The whole kingdom celebrated for 3 days. Now, that tiny baby had grown into a curious little boy with bright blue eyes and messy brown hair. The prince loved to run in the palace gardens and ask questions about everything. "Captain Marcus," a soft voice called. He turned to see Princess Elena walking toward him. She wore a beautiful blue dress that sparkled in the light, but her face looked worried. She held little Prince Oliver's hand. The boy looked excited, jumping up and down. "Your Highness," Marcus bowed deeply. "Marcus, I need to ask you something," Princess Elena said quietly. She looked down at her son, who was now trying to touch the guard's sword. "Oliver has never been in front of so many people. The crowd will be very loud. The ceremony is very long. I'm worried he might get scared or try to run." Marcus looked at the little prince. The boy smiled at him with missing front teeth. "I understand, Your Highness," Marcus said. "I will stay close, very close. I promise no harm will come to the young prince." Princess Elena's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Marcus. You've always been so kind to us." The princess and her son walked away toward the balcony area. Marcus followed at a respectful distance. Other guards lined the hallways. Everyone was in position. The head of security, Commander Stone, had planned everything perfectly. Or so they thought. The ceremony hall was massive. Golden pillars reached up to painted ceilings. Giant windows let in streams of sunlight. Red carpets covered the marble floors. At one end was the famous royal balcony where the family would stand and wave to the people below. But first, there would be a ceremony inside the hall. Important people from all over the kingdom had gathered. Nobles, ministers, foreign guests. Everyone wanted to see the royal family up close. Prince Oliver walked between his mother and father, King Edmund. The king was a large man with a thick beard. He looked proud and strong. But Marcus noticed that Princess Elena kept a tight grip on her son's hand. The ceremony began. A choir sang beautiful songs. Ministers gave long speeches about the kingdom's prosperity. Prince Oliver tried to stand still, but Marcus could see the boy was getting bored. He shifted from foot to foot. He played with his mother's dress. He looked around the room with wide eyes. Above the royal family hung the kingdom's greatest treasure, a massive golden crown decoration. It was as big as a table and covered with jewels. It hung from thick chains connected to the ceiling. This crown had hung in the ceremony hall for 200 years. It was the symbol of Westoria's power and history. Marcus stood 10 feet away from the royal family. He watched everything. His eyes scanned the crowd. He looked at the other guards. He checked the exits. Everything seemed normal. Then he looked up at the golden crown. Something was wrong. One of the chains looked different. It seemed loose. Marcus squinted his eyes to see better. Was that chain moving slightly? No, he must be imagining things. The crown had been checked yesterday. The engineers said everything was safe. But Marcus couldn't shake the feeling. His instincts were screaming at him. Something was not right. A minister was giving a speech about honor and duty. The crowd listened politely. Prince Oliver yawned. Princess Elena whispered something to him, probably telling him to stand up straight. Marcus took a step closer to the family. Then another step. Other guards looked at him strangely. He was breaking his position, but he didn't care. His eyes stayed locked on the golden crown above. The chain was definitely moving now. Very slightly, but moving. Marcus's heart began to pound. His hands felt cold. Time seemed to slow down. He saw the chain start to twist. He heard a tiny cracking sound that no one else noticed. The ancient metal was giving way. The golden crown was going to fall, and it was going to fall directly onto Prince Oliver. Marcus didn't think. He didn't ask permission. He didn't wait for orders. He ran. His boots pounded on the marble floor. People turned to look at him, confused and shocked. A guard never broke rank during a ceremony. Never. Move! Marcus shouted. The chain broke with a loud snap that echoed through the hall. The massive golden crown began to fall, tumbling through the air like a deadly weapon. Everything happened in seconds. Marcus reached Prince Oliver just as the crown fell toward him. He grabbed the boy with both arms and dove forward, throwing himself and the child away from the danger zone. The golden crown crashed onto the exact spot where Prince Oliver had been standing 1 second before. The impact was deafening. The crown shattered into pieces. Jewels scattered across the floor like rain. Dust filled the air. People screamed. Guards rushed forward. Marcus lay on the ground, his body curved around the little prince. His back had taken the impact of the fall. Pain shot through his shoulder. But he didn't care about that. Prince Oliver, he gasped. Are you hurt? From beneath him came a small, scared voice. Marcus? What happened? The guard carefully lifted himself up. The boy was fine. Not a scratch on him. Princess Elena rushed over, crying and shaking. King Edmund stood frozen in shock. Marcus had saved the prince's life. But the real story was just beginning. Princess Elena dropped to her knees beside Marcus and Prince Oliver. Tears ran down her face. Her hands shook as she reached for her son. Oliver, my baby, she cried. The little prince crawled out from Marcus's protective hold. He looked confused and scared. His fancy clothes were dusty, but he was completely unharmed. Mama, Oliver said in a small voice. Why did the big crown fall? Princess Elena grabbed her son and held him tight. She kissed his head over and over. You're safe. You're safe. Thank God, you're safe. King Edmund finally moved. He rushed to his family and wrapped his arms around them both. His face had turned pale. His hands trembled. The strong king looked like he might cry. Marcus, the king said, his voice breaking. You saved my son. Marcus slowly stood up. His shoulder hurt badly. His back ached. But he forced himself to stand straight like a proper guard. He bowed to the royal family. I was just doing my duty, Your Majesty, Marcus said. Duty? King Edmund repeated. You risked your life. You could have died. The ceremony hall was complete chaos now. Guards surrounded the royal family. Nobles were shouting. Some ladies had fainted. Servants ran in every direction. The broken pieces of the golden crown lay scattered everywhere, glittering in the sunlight. Commander Stone pushed through the crowd. His face was red with anger and fear. He looked at the broken crown, then at Marcus, then at the royal family. Get the family to safety, Commander Stone ordered. Lock down the palace. Nobody leaves until we find out what happened. 6 guards immediately formed a circle around King Edmund, Princess Elena, and Prince Oliver. They rushed the royal family out of the ceremony hall through a private exit. Princess Elena looked back at Marcus one more time. Her eyes were filled with tears and gratitude. Then they were gone. Marcus stood alone in the middle of the hall. His legs felt weak. The shock of what just happened finally hit him. He had almost failed. The prince had almost died. If he had been 1 second slower. Captain Marcus. Commander Stone grabbed his arm. Are you injured? My shoulder, sir. But I'm fine. Fine? You just threw yourself across a marble floor. The commander's stern face softened slightly. You did good, Marcus. Very good. But now we have a serious problem. Marcus looked at the broken crown on the ground. The chain broke. But how? That crown has hung there for 200 years. Exactly, Commander Stone said darkly. 200 years. And it breaks today? On the exact day the young prince appears in public for the first time? The 2 men looked at each other. The same terrible thought entered both their minds. This was not an accident. Someone had tried to kill Prince Oliver. Within an hour, the palace was completely locked down. No one could enter or leave. Royal investigators began examining the broken chain. Engineers climbed up to the ceiling to check how the crown had been attached. Marcus sat in the guard station, holding ice against his bruised shoulder. Other guards kept coming to pat him on the back and call him a hero. But Marcus didn't feel like a hero. He felt sick to his stomach. Someone had tried to murder a 4-year-old child. A knock came at the door. A servant entered and bowed. Captain Marcus, Princess Elena requests your presence in the royal chambers. Marcus stood up immediately. He followed the servant through the quiet palace halls. Usually, the palace was full of music and laughter. Now it felt dark and dangerous. Guards stood at every corner. Servants whispered nervously. When Marcus entered the royal chambers, he found Princess Elena sitting by the fireplace. She had changed out of her ceremony dress. She wore a simple white gown. Her eyes were red from crying. Prince Oliver was asleep on a couch nearby, covered with a soft blanket. "Captain Marcus," Princess Elena said softly. "Please sit down." Marcus sat in a chair across from her. He felt awkward being so informal with the princess. But she had requested this private meeting. "I wanted to thank you properly," Princess Elena began, away from all the crowds and chaos. "You saved my son's life today. You didn't hesitate. You didn't think about yourself. You just acted. Any guard would have done the same, Your Highness." "No." Princess Elena shook her head firmly. "Most guards would have followed protocol. They would have waited for orders. They would have been too scared to break rank during a royal ceremony. But you saw the danger, and you moved. You trusted your instincts." She stood up and walked to a small table. She picked up a golden medal attached to a blue ribbon. "This is the Medal of Valor," Princess Elena said. "Only 20 guards in the history of Westoria have ever received it. My husband wants to give it to you tomorrow at a special ceremony." Marcus felt overwhelmed. "Your Highness, I don't deserve." "You deserve it more than anyone," Princess Elena interrupted. She walked over and placed the medal in his hands. "But there's something else I need to tell you. Something important." She looked toward the door to make sure no one was listening. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "The investigators found something. The chain didn't just break from old age. Someone cut through most of it. They left just enough metal so it would hold until the ceremony, until Oliver was standing right underneath." Marcus felt his blood turn cold. "Then it's true. Someone tried to kill him." "Yes," Princess Elena's voice shook. "And Marcus, we don't know who. It could be anyone in the palace. A servant, a noble, even another guard." Marcus gripped the medal tightly. "What do you need me to do, Your Highness?" Princess Elena looked at her sleeping son. Fresh tears filled her eyes. "I want you to become Oliver's personal bodyguard, not just for ceremonies, not just for public appearances. Every day, every hour. I trust you with my son's life. Marcus, you're the only one I trust completely." Marcus stood up and placed his hand over his heart. "I swear on my life, Your Highness, no harm will come to Prince Oliver. I will protect him with everything I have." "Thank you," Princess Elena whispered. But neither of them knew that someone was already planning the next attack. And this time, it would be much worse. Marcus moved into a room next to Prince Oliver's bedroom. From now on, he would sleep, eat, and live near the young prince. Every morning, Marcus woke up before sunrise. He checked all the windows. He tested the locks. He inspected Oliver's toys, his clothes, even his food. The palace felt different now. Everyone looked at each other with suspicion. Servants whispered in corners. Guards watched each other carefully. Nobody knew who the enemy was. 3 days after the crown incident, Marcus was helping Prince Oliver get dressed for breakfast. "Marcus, why do you sleep in that room now?" Oliver asked. The little boy pulled on his small boots. "To keep you safe, my prince," Marcus answered gently. "Safe from what?" Marcus paused. "How do you explain danger to a 4-year-old? How do you tell a child that someone wants to hurt him?" "There are some bad people in the world," Marcus said carefully. "My job is to make sure they never get close to you." Oliver thought about this seriously. Then he smiled. "You're like a dragon slayer. The knights in my storybooks protect the prince from dragons." Marcus couldn't help but smile. "Yes, exactly like that. Will you read me the dragon story tonight?" Oliver asked. "Of course, my prince." They walked together to the royal dining hall. Marcus kept his hand near his sword. His eyes scanned every hallway, every shadow, every person they passed. In the dining hall, King Edmund and Princess Elena were already seated. The king looked tired. He probably hadn't slept much. Princess Elena's face was pale and worried. "Good morning, Oliver," Princess Elena said with a forced smile. "Come eat your breakfast." Prince Oliver climbed into his chair. A servant brought him porridge with honey and fresh berries. Marcus stood 5 feet away, watching everything. The servant who brought the food was named Thomas. He was an old man who had worked in the palace for 30 years. Marcus knew him well. But now, Marcus watched Thomas's every move. Could he be the one? Could this kind old man be a killer? Thomas noticed Marcus staring. He looked hurt and confused. Marcus felt terrible, but he couldn't take any chances. After breakfast, Princess Elena asked Marcus to walk with her in the palace garden. Oliver played nearby with his wooden toys. 6 other guards watched from different positions. "Marcus, I need to tell you something," Princess Elena said quietly. The investigators discovered more information. Marcus listened carefully. They found a note. Princess Elena continued. Hidden in the ceremony hall. It said, "The crown prince will never wear the crown." It was signed with a black rose symbol. Black rose. Marcus frowned. What does that mean? 20 years ago, there was a rebellion, Princess Elena explained. A group of nobles tried to overthrow King Edmund's father. They called themselves the Black Rose Society. They wanted to end the royal family and create a new government. What happened to them? They were defeated. Their leaders were exiled from the kingdom. But Princess Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. But we never caught all of them. Some escaped. Some hid their identities and stayed in Westoria. Marcus felt his stomach twist. So they've been waiting all these years. Waiting for revenge. Yes, Princess Elena said. And now they're targeting Oliver. If they kill the prince, the royal bloodline ends with this generation. King Edmund and I cannot have more children. The weight of this responsibility pressed down on Marcus. He wasn't just protecting a child. He was protecting the entire future of the kingdom. I won't let them succeed, Your Highness, Marcus promised. But we need to find them before they try again. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He sat in his room, thinking, the Black Rose Society. Who could they be? They had to be people with access to the palace. People who could move around freely without suspicion. A sound caught his attention. A soft creaking noise, coming from Prince Oliver's room. Marcus grabbed his sword and moved silently to the door. He opened it slowly, carefully. Prince Oliver's room was dark. Moonlight came through the windows. The prince was sleeping peacefully in his bed. But someone else was in the room. A dark figure stood by the window. They wore black clothes and a hood that hid their face. In their hand was a small vial of liquid that glowed faintly green in the moonlight. Poison. They were moving toward Oliver's water cup on the bedside table. Marcus didn't shout. He didn't want to wake Oliver and scare him. Instead, he moved like lightning. He crossed the room in 3 silent steps and grabbed the intruder from behind. The person tried to fight back. They were strong and fast. The poison vial fell and rolled under the bed. Marcus and the intruder struggled silently, both trying not to wake the sleeping prince. Marcus managed to push the person against the wall. He pulled back their hood. His blood turned to ice. It was Lady Catherine, the king's cousin, a member of the royal family itself. You? Marcus gasped. Lady Catherine's face twisted with hatred. She was a beautiful woman, about 40 years old. But now her beauty was hidden behind ugly rage. Yes, me, she hissed quietly. My father was the rightful king. Edmund's father stole the throne from him. That crown belongs to MY family. So you're part of the Black Rose Society, Marcus said, keeping his grip tight on her arms. I'm the Black Rose Society. Lady Catherine spat. I've waited 20 years for this moment. 20 years of pretending to be loyal. Pretending to love that stupid child. But now, the royal line ends. And my son will become the new king. Marcus felt sick. This woman had lived in the palace all this time. She had eaten dinner with the family. She had played with Oliver. And the whole time, she was planning to kill him. Guards! Marcus shouted now. Lady Catherine screamed in rage. She kicked and fought, but Marcus was stronger. Within seconds, 6 guards burst into the room. Prince Oliver woke up, crying and scared. Princess Elena ran in wearing her nightgown, her face panicked. Mama! Oliver cried. Princess Elena rushed to her son and held him. Marcus handed Lady Catherine over to the guards. Take her to the dungeon, Marcus ordered. She tried to poison the prince. As the guards dragged Lady Catherine away, she screamed threats and curses. This isn't over. The Black Rose has more members. You'll never find them all. The prince will die. The royal family will fall. Her voice echoed through the hallways until a guard finally gagged her. King Edmund arrived, breathing hard from running. He looked at his cousin being taken away. His face showed shock and heartbreak. "Catherine," he whispered. "My own cousin?" Marcus retrieved the poison vial from under the bed. He held it up. "She was going to put this in Prince Oliver's water," Marcus said. Princess Elena began crying. She held Oliver so tight that the boy complained. King Edmund sat down on Oliver's bed, looking 10 years older suddenly. "Is it over?" Princess Elena asked through her tears. "Is my son finally safe?" Marcus wanted to say yes. He wanted to tell her that everything was fine now, but he remembered Lady Catherine's final words. "The Black Rose has more members. You never find them all." Marcus looked at the royal family. Then he spoke the terrible truth. "No, Your Highness, this isn't over. Lady Catherine wasn't working alone. There are others, and now they'll be even more desperate." The real danger was still coming. King Edmund ordered a full investigation of everyone in the palace. Guards questioned every servant, every noble, every worker. They searched rooms. They read old letters. They looked for any connection to Lady Catherine or the Black Rose Society. Marcus stayed close to Prince Oliver every moment. The little boy didn't fully understand what was happening. He knew his mama and papa were worried. He knew something bad had happened, but he was only 4 years old. "Marcus, can we go to the garden?" Oliver asked one morning. "I want to see the butterflies." Marcus looked out the window. The garden looked peaceful and beautiful. Flowers bloomed in every color. Birds sang in the trees. But Marcus saw danger everywhere now. "Not today, my prince," Marcus said gently. "But I've been inside for so many days." Oliver's eyes filled with tears. "I want to play outside. I want to run. I want to see the horses." Marcus's heart broke. This little boy was a prisoner in his own home. He couldn't play freely. He couldn't explore. He couldn't be a normal child. All because evil people wanted to hurt him. Princess Elena came into the room. She looked exhausted. She probably hadn't slept properly in days. "Oliver, sweetheart, why don't you play with your toy soldiers?" she suggested. "Marcus will play with you." "I don't want toy soldiers," Oliver shouted. He threw one of the toys across the room. "I want to go outside. I hate being locked up. I hate it." The little prince started crying. Princess Elena picked him up and held him while he sobbed. Marcus stood there feeling helpless. He could fight enemies. He could protect against weapons. But he couldn't fight the sadness and fear that trapped this family. Later that day, Commander Stone came to Marcus's room. The commander's face was grim. "We found something," Commander Stone said. Lady Catherine had a journal hidden in her room. She wrote down names. Other members of the Black Rose Society. Marcus felt a surge of hope. "Who are they?" "3 people," Commander Stone said. "Lord Harrison, the finance minister. Margaret, the head cook. And," he paused, "and someone she called the Falcon." She never wrote the real name. Just the Falcon. "We arrested Lord Harrison and Margaret this morning," Commander Stone continued. "Both admitted to being part of the plot, but neither of them knows who the Falcon is. Lady Catherine kept that identity secret, even from her own people. So there's still one enemy in the palace," Marcus said. "Someone close enough to strike." "Yes, and according to the journal, the Falcon is the most dangerous one, the leader of the whole operation." Marcus thought hard. Lady Catherine, Lord Harrison, and Margaret are all arrested. They can't communicate with the Falcon anymore. So what will the Falcon do now? Commander Stone's face went pale. "The Falcon will panic. They'll know we're searching. They'll try to finish the mission quickly before we discover their identity. They'll attack soon," Marcus realized. Very soon. Both men looked at each other with the same urgent thought. They ran toward Prince Oliver's room. When they arrived, Princess Elena was reading a story to Oliver. The prince was finally calm, listening to his mother's voice. Everything looked peaceful, but Marcus noticed something wrong. The window was open slightly, just a crack, but Marcus always kept the windows locked. "Your Highness, get down," Marcus shouted. He threw himself in front of Princess Elena and Oliver just as an arrow shot through the window. The arrow whistled past Marcus's head and stuck into the wall behind them. Princess Elena screamed. Oliver cried. Commander Stone rushed to the window and looked out. An archer was running across the garden, wearing servant's clothes. After them, Commander Stone shouted. 10 guards poured into the garden. They chased the archer through the flowers and trees. Marcus wanted to join the chase, but he couldn't leave Oliver's side. "Mama, I'm scared." Oliver sobbed into his mother's dress. Princess Elena was shaking. Her face was white as snow. Marcus helped them both to their feet. "Come with me," Marcus said. "We're moving to the secure tower." Now, the secure tower was the oldest part of the palace. It had thick stone walls and only one entrance. A perfect place to defend. Marcus led Princess Elena and Oliver through the hallways at a run. 8 guards surrounded them. They reached the tower and locked themselves inside. King Edmund was already there, having been brought by his personal guards. The royal family was together now, safe behind stone and steel. "Did they catch the archer?" King Edmund asked. One of the guards shook his head. "No, Your Majesty. The person escaped into the forest. But we found something." He held up a piece of cloth. "This fell from the archer's clothing. It's from a guard's uniform." Everyone in the room went silent. The falcon was a royal guard. Marcus felt sick. He looked at the 8 guards in the room. He had worked with these men for years. He trusted them with his life. But one of them could be the enemy. One of them could be the falcon. "Everyone out," King Edmund ordered, except Captain Marcus. The 8 guards left reluctantly. Each one looked confused and hurt. Marcus watched their faces carefully. Which one was lying? Which one was the traitor? When they were alone, King Edmund sat down heavily. He suddenly looked very old. "I can't trust my own guards," the king said quietly. "I can't trust my own family." "Who can I trust, Marcus?" "You can trust me, Your Majesty," Marcus said firmly. "I swear it on my honor." Princess Elena was sitting on the floor with Oliver, trying to calm him down. The little prince had finally stopped crying, but he looked tired and sad. "Marcus," Princess Elena said. "Lady Catherine's journal. Did it say anything about why? Why do they hate us so much? Why do they want to kill my baby?" Marcus remembered what Lady Catherine had screamed that night. She said her father was the rightful king, that your father, Your Majesty, stole the throne from him. King Edmund nodded slowly. "My father's brother. Yes, there was a dispute about succession when I was young. My uncle claimed the throne should be his, but the council chose my father. My uncle started a rebellion. We defeated him, and he was exiled. But his followers never forgot," Marcus said. "They've been planning revenge for 20 years. And now they want to kill Oliver," Princess Elena said. Her voice was full of pain. "They want to kill an innocent child because of something that happened before he was born." Oliver looked up at his mother. "Mama, why are people so mean?" Princess Elena hugged her son tight. She had no answer. Night fell. The secure tower grew dark. Guards brought food and blankets. The royal family tried to sleep, but nobody could rest easily. Marcus stood by the door, his hand on his sword. He watched. He listened. He waited. Somewhere in the palace, the falcon was planning the next move. And Marcus knew it would be the deadliest attack yet. He just had to figure out who the falcon was before it was too late. The answer was closer than he thought. 3 days passed in the secure tower. The royal family lived like prisoners. King Edmund gave orders through messengers. Princess Elena tried to keep Oliver entertained with stories and games. But everyone was tired. Everyone was afraid. Marcus barely slept. He watched the door day and night. Commander Stone brought food and water personally. They couldn't trust anyone else. On the 3rd night, Marcus was standing guard when he heard footsteps on the tower stairs. He drew his sword quietly. The footsteps were soft. Careful. Someone was trying to be silent. The door opened slowly. It was Commander Stone. "Marcus," the commander whispered. "I think I know who the falcon is." Marcus motioned for him to come inside. They moved away from the sleeping royal family to talk quietly. "Who?" Marcus asked. "Sir William," Commander Stone said. "The king's personal advisor. I found letters in his office. Secret messages about the Black Rose Society." Marcus felt relief flood through him. Finally, they had found the last traitor. "Where is he now?" Marcus asked. "In the dungeon. I arrested him an hour ago." Commander Stone smiled. "It's over, Marcus. Prince Oliver is safe now." Marcus wanted to believe it. He wanted to feel relief. But something felt wrong. Something in his gut told him to be careful. How did you find the letters? Marcus asked slowly. Commander Stone's smile flickered for just a moment. What do you mean? You've been investigating for days. Why did you suddenly find evidence tonight? In the middle of the night, the commander's face changed. His friendly expression disappeared. His eyes turned cold and hard. You're too smart for your own good. Marcus, Commander Stone said quietly. In a flash, the commander pulled out a knife. But Marcus was faster. He blocked the attack with his sword. The two weapons clashed with a loud sound that echoed through the tower. King Edmund and Princess Elena woke up instantly. Oliver started crying. You, Marcus shouted. You're the Falcon. Commander Stone laughed. It was a cruel, ugly sound. I've been the Falcon for 20 years. I watched. I waited. I earned everyone's trust. And tonight, I finally finished what we started. What? Marcus demanded. He kept his sword up, protecting the royal family behind him. You were the head of security. The king trusted you. The king is a fool. Commander Stone spat. His father stole the throne from the rightful heir. My family served the true royal line. When they were defeated, I hid my identity. I became a guard. I worked my way up, and I waited for the perfect moment. You planned everything, Marcus realized. The falling crown. Lady Catherine's arrest. You wanted me to think she was the leader, but you were controlling her the whole time. Very good, Commander Stone said mockingly. Lady Catherine was useful, but she was too emotional, too angry. She would have been caught eventually anyway. I'll let you arrest her. I'll let you arrest the others, because it made you feel safe. It made you think the danger was over. King Edmund stepped forward. Stone, please. You don't have to do this. We can talk. We can find peace. Peace? Commander Stone laughed again. There is no peace while your family sits on the throne. Tonight, the prince dies, and tomorrow, the kingdom will know that the royal family couldn't even protect their own child. The people will lose faith. The crown will fall, and a new order will rise. He lunged at Marcus with his knife. Marcus blocked and countered with his sword. The two men fought fiercely. They had trained together for years. They knew each other's moves, but now they fought as enemies. Princess Elena grabbed Oliver and pulled him to the corner of the room. King Edmund picked up a heavy candlestick to defend his family. Marcus and Commander Stone circled each other. Stone was strong and experienced, but Marcus had something stronger than skill. He had purpose. He had promised to protect Prince Oliver, and he never broke his promises. Stone made a mistake. He swung too wide. Marcus saw his opening. He struck with his sword, hitting Stone's hand. The knife flew across the room, but Stone wasn't finished. He pulled out another weapon, a small crossbow hidden under his cloak. He aimed it directly at Prince Oliver. If I can't kill him with a blade, I'll kill him with this, Stone shouted. Tom seemed to slow down. Marcus saw Stone's finger on the trigger. He saw the crossbow pointing at the little prince. He saw Princess Elena trying to shield her son with her own body. Marcus didn't hesitate. He threw himself between the crossbow and Prince Oliver. The arrow shot out. It hit Marcus in the chest. Pain exploded through his body. He fell to his knees, but he didn't fall down completely. He stayed up, blocking the path to the prince. Commander Stone tried to reload the crossbow, but King Edmund rushed forward and hit him with a candlestick. Stone fell down, knocked unconscious. Marcus! Princess Elena screamed. Marcus collapsed to the floor. Blood soaked his uniform. His vision went blurry. He could hear Oliver crying. He could hear footsteps running up the stairs. Guards were coming. Real guards. Loyal guards. Princess Elena knelt beside Marcus. Tears streamed down her face. Stay with us, Marcus. Please stay with us. Marcus looked up at her. He saw Prince Oliver peeking from behind his mother, his small face scared and sad. Is the prince safe? Marcus whispered. Yes, Princess Elena sobbed. He's safe. You saved him. Again. Marcus smiled. Good. That's all that matters. Someone get the doctor. King Edmund shouted. Now. 2 weeks later, Marcus woke up in a soft bed. Sunlight came through a window. He was alive. The arrow had missed his heart by inches. The royal doctors had saved him. A small sound made him turn his head. Prince Oliver sat in a chair beside the bed. The little boy was drawing a picture with colored pencils. Prince Oliver? Marcus said weakly. Oliver's face lit up. Marcus, you're awake. He jumped off the chair and ran to get his mother. Princess Elena rushed in, followed by King Edmund. Both of them were smiling. They looked happy and healthy. The fear was gone from their eyes. Marcus, King Edmund said warmly. Welcome back. Is everyone safe? Marcus asked. Everyone is safe, Princess Elena assured him. Commander Stone is in prison. We've arrested all the remaining Black Rose members. The kingdom is secure. King Edmund held up the Medal of Valor that Marcus had received before. This medal wasn't enough. We're making you a knight, Sir Marcus, Royal Protector, and you'll have a permanent place in our family. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. Your Majesty, I don't deserve. You deserve everything, Princess Elena interrupted. She took his hand gently. You gave your life for my son. Twice. Prince Oliver climbed up on the bed carefully. He showed Marcus his drawing. It was a picture of a knight with a sword standing in front of a little boy. The knight had a big smile. This is you, Oliver said proudly. You're my hero, Marcus. My dragon slayer. Just like in the stories. Marcus looked at the drawing. He looked at the royal family, smiling at him. He looked at Prince Oliver's innocent, happy face. Everything he had fought for. Everything he had protected. It was all worth it. I'll always protect you, my prince, Marcus promised. Always. Outside the window, the kingdom of Westoria celebrated. The danger had passed. The evil had been defeated. And a brave guard had become a legend. The royal family was safe. And they would stay safe as long as Sir Marcus drew breath. The end.